Okay, so I actually went to this chapter of Boku no Hero Academia thinking it was going to be the start of a brand new arc because I figured the last chapter was so perfect of an ending for this whole school festival arc that I figured that we just jump right to the next one. But instead, we actually continue on with this, and I was a little confused at first as to why we're actually still on this whole entire thing. But then I remembered this whole school festival arc wasn't just about Deku and him trying to complete his goal. It was also about the other class 1A students and them trying to basically rejuvenate or trying to like gain more acceptance from the other students in the school. Because up to this point, pretty much every other class besides I would say probably class 1B hates all class 1A students simply because of the fact that basically they blame them for all the things that have gone wrong with UA up until this point. We even saw some of the students that hate Class 1A in the crowd of their performers basically just sitting there waiting and hoping that their class performers will basically just crash and burn and that they make embarrassments of themselves and basically saying even if their performance is good, it actually does seem fun, it's not going to serve to help out anyone else. And honestly, I actually kind of forgot that some of the other students in UA hate on Class 1A, kind of hate on Deku's class because of all the trouble they've been in and the fact that they were kind of almost responsible for getting UA shut down at one point, I believe, because it's been so long since we actually dealt with that kind of plot line that I actually forgot it existed. And in my head, I kind of wrote out the fact that, there's not really any reason for the other students to hate on Class 1A because despite everything they've been through, Class 1A never asked to be put in any of those events. Like, they never asked to be attacked by the villains. They never asked to have to fight for their lives against villains. And especially Bakugo. Bakugo never asked to be kidnapped by villains. In fact, the only situation they've been put in that they actually put themselves in was the fact that Deku and some of the other students went to rescue Bakugo, despite the fact that the heroes actually told him to leave it to the professionals. So that was pretty much the only situation they've been in that was actually their fault. And all the other ones were kind of just, circumstance. Because if you remember, the first time Class 1A was actually attacked by villains was when the villains were after All Might, and it just so happened that the training facility that All Might was going to be at teaching students how to use their quirks was actually where the villains actually planned on doing their surprise attack on him in order to kill him. So it was just a circumstance. It wasn't really their fault that they were there and that they got involved in the fight. It was actually pretty interesting seeing all the way the Class 1A use their quirk to actually put on the performance. And the way they actually use their quirks actually made a lot of sense and actually was actually something I kind of expected for them to do in this performance. The only one that kind of didn't make sense to me was Bakugo. The fact that in the beginning of the performance, the beginning of the rock show, he actually used his explosion quirk to basically blast his drums. But after that, they were fine. I guess Yaoyorozu kind of made some drums that are actually resistant to his quirk, I guess. I also kind of forgot about the fact that Jiro was actually kind of the co-star of this entire arc, even though we actually didn't see her much in the past few chapters. Because if you remember, the kind of recurring theme throughout the entire arc for her was basically the fact that she actually loves music, but she has no real confidence in herself as being a musician. And that's actually kind of something that's been present for her character throughout the entire series. And even more so in this chapter when we see a flashback to her when she's telling her parents that she actually wants to go to UA to become a hero. Because it's kind of implied in the flashback that she actually does not believe that she has what it takes to be a musician like her parents. Flashback's actually kind of heartwarming because after she tells her parents that she's going to become a hero instead of a musician, they fully support her. They basically say, hey, if that's what you like doing, then we fully support you. We only became musicians because we find enjoyment out of it. So if you find enjoyment out of being a hero, then go for it. And her mom actually chimes in and says basically, as long as you use your voice to bring happiness to other people, then whether you're a musician or a hero, the two jobs really aren't that different. And that's basically been the main theme throughout this entire arc, that there's more than one way to become a hero. And that no matter what your job qualification is, no matter what you actually do as a career, as long as you can bring happiness to other people's lives, you in their eyes are a hero. And that's reinforced by the fact that at the end of the chapter, we see all the students that hated on Class 1A in the beginning of the chapter are enjoying the entire performance. And despite everything she's been through, Eri in this one moment is smiling ear to ear and she's having fun. But that's pretty much all that happened in the chapter. Now I gotta say, even though I thought last chapter was actually the perfect ending for this entire arc, I actually think this one's even better of an ending and actually encompasses more of what the message of this entire arc was, better than the last one did. So I'm actually happy with the way it ended this week, even despite the fact that I was hoping that we'd actually jump into a next arc right away. But yeah, I guess I have to wait till next week to see that. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought about this arc. Do you agree with me about the fact that the message of this arc was basically that if you can bring happiness to someone's life, then you are truly a hero? Or let me know what you actually thought. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys actually thought about this arc. Did you think in general that this arc was actually pretty good? Did you like it as much as I did? Do you agree with me about the fact that the message of this entire arc was basically the fact that as long as you bring happiness to someone's life, then you are a hero? Or do you disagree and think that there was another message that was even deeper that I just didn't notice? Let me know in the comment section down below, and that's it for the video. Catch you guys later. Peace.